If I were moving to North Atlanta in 2026, this is the video I'd want to see, because it's not simply the best places to live. After all, you need a home based on your life stage and desired lifestyle. Whether you're just starting out, starting a family, or starting retirement, you need a home in a neighborhood that meets you where you are. So today, I'm going to tell you where a top real estate agent like myself would live if I were moving to Atlanta in 2026. Hi guys, I'm Tim Trevathan with Tim Trevathan Homes, and I help people from all over the country make a move and find their dream home here in Metro Atlanta. Truly, you're gonna find that this video is for everyone. And no matter if you're a young professional, a family, an active nature enthusiast, first-time home buyer, or retiree, this video will point out some of the best North Atlanta neighborhoods for every life phase and for every budget. Now, you definitely want to stick around to the end because my final segment in this video is kind of a fantasy to many of us, but a serious reality to a lucky few. North Atlanta for people to whom money is no object. Here I'll show you some formal old money estate neighborhoods and a few actual multi-million dollar homes for sale. Places you can park your boat or nurture your equestrian hobby and even underdeveloped land so you can build exactly what you want. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get started. Atlanta is so appealing to young professionals in their 20s or 30s, with or without kids. And while Buckhead or Brookwood may tempt you, I bet I can persuade you to give the areas just at or outside the perimeter a closer look. In fact, I can make a great case for Sandy Springs. This area is vast and includes parts both inside and outside the perimeter in North Fulton County. And here you have easy access to Buckhead or downtown. And Sandy Springs has a lot of that same energy. You can enjoy not only superior shopping, fine dining, and evening activities near home, but there are over 16 green spaces to get you outside. Morgan Falls Overlook Park is ideal for everyone, dogs included. You're also very close to Chattahoochee Park for walks, picnics, swimming, and the outdoor Chattahoochee Park Amphitheatre. Sting, Paul Simon, and James Taylor are repeat performers at Chattahoochee. And Sandy Springs is also one of several North Atlanta entrances to the Chattahoochee River National Recreation Area. I mean, what's not to love here? It may also interest you to know that many of the homes in Sandy Springs gives you an Atlanta mailing address. Now, I won't pretend that single family homes here are cheap. They're typically starting at $500,000 and go up considerably from there. But I would still consider Sandy Springs for young professionals because there are plenty of condos and townhomes. North Springs, which is the northern part of Sandy Springs, also has a great mix of housing options along with the Roswell Road corridor, which additionally has plenty of apartments too, just in case you'd like to rent before you buy. And all of Sandy Springs is in close proximity to other areas of Atlanta. You have easy access to I-285, Georgia 400, and even main thoroughfare Roswell Road, which runs from the heart of Buckhead through Sandy Springs and all the way up to Roswell. If you work in technology, finance, healthcare, or insurance, you may be working in a modern progressive area about 25 miles north on Georgia 400. I'm talking, of course, about Alpharetta, Georgia. Alpharetta is still in Fulton County and has an abundance of restaurants, shopping, and nightlife. So naturally, Alpharetta is a very competitive housing market, and luckily, there are plenty of condos, townhomes, and single-family homes to choose from. And while Alpharetta is an established city, it also continues to grow with new construction homes and townhomes still being built. I mentioned shopping, and there is no shortage of places to buy things in Alpharetta. From North Point Mall to Alpharetta City Center to Avalon, virtually every big name retailer is represented here. For entertainment, one of the better outdoor concert venues in all of Atlanta is AmerisBank Amphitheatre. So if you're a young professional, Alpharetta gives you almost everything you could want. Now, this next section will be for those who enjoy nature and an active lifestyle. Very close to Alpharetta in Fulton County and just off Georgia 400 is the city of Roswell, Georgia. Like Alpharetta, Roswell also has an abundance of shops, restaurants, and every type of housing you may need. Condos, townhomes, and single-family homes. But I think the biggest lifestyle difference you'll notice is that Roswell is much more laid back. Because one thing Roswell has is a healthy respect for history. In fact, there are 3 historic antebellum museums owned and operated by the city of Roswell, along with plenty of antique shops. shops. And there's also a cultural arts center that hosts a variety of performances along with classes and clubs that make it feel more like a community. And yet, Roswell is also home to another entrance to the Chattahoochee River. The Hooch, as we call it, winds through different parts of North Atlanta and is a great place for a river kayaking, rafting, trout fishing, or hiking and biking on scenic nature trails. You can also bring the Pooch to the Hooch. This is a very dog-friendly and family-friendly park. And there's plenty of flora and fauna showcasing springtime dogwood and beautiful fall foliage. Roswell's median home price is in the mid $700,000s for single family, but there are plenty of condos and townhomes for sale as well. You really can have calm natural terrain, a convenient location, and a nice home in Roswell, Georgia. But if you'd like to be closer to the North Georgia mountains and Lake Lanier, maybe you should be going to Cumming. Cumming, Georgia is farther up 400 in Forsyth County and is one of the most rapidly growing areas in the whole metro Atlanta area. Not only does it serve as the gateway to the North Georgia mountains, but the city itself gives you plenty of nature trails and parks, as well as a large aquatic center. Cumming is also home to Sawnee Mountain Preserve for some scenic hiking, and you can bike, jog, or even inline skate along the pathways of the Big Creek Greenway. Cumming also straddles Lake Lanier for picnics, a little glamping or boating, and sailing fun. But just because it promotes an active lifestyle, don't think for a minute that Cumming is an undeveloped area. There are so many places to eat and shop and also to drink. Cumming has several wineries, breweries, and distilleries, so you can socialize after a day outdoors. And when it's time to be coming home, as the City Walk Tower puts it, you'll have an abundance from which to choose. You see, there are multiple new developments throughout Cumming. On the south side, just off Georgia 400, in or near downtown, and in the northern part of Cumming, near the Coal Mountain area. New homes and townhomes are already for sale from builders like the Toll Brothers and the Providence Group, which are two of my favorites. And there are also several mixed-use developments that started in 2024 and are expected to finish in phases beginning later this year. Right now, there are brand new single family as well as townhomes starting in the 400,000s, those in addition to many existing homes that are well built and cared for. In fact, I have a client that has a growing family. They decided to sell their home in Sugar Hill. It was a townhome, 2,400 square feet, and they found a home about 10, 15 years older, but not that much in terms of maintenance to do, and they bought it for $530,000, and it was almost 3,500 square feet in Cumming. I should also mention that if you are a golfer, Metro Atlanta has over 60 accessible golf courses. No matter where you live in North Atlanta, you can always find a course nearby. The next phase of life I'd like to cover is where I would live if I moved to North Atlanta and was starting a family. Full disclosure here, I actually do have a family, so let me be your guide for just a few areas to consider. Obviously, good schools are going to be top of mind, so let's go just a bit further outside the perimeter. I have to start off with the North Atlanta suburb that US News and World Report calls the nation's #1 best place to live for 2026, and that of course is Johns Creek, Georgia. Now, if you've been watching my other videos, you know I've covered Johns Creek extensively. And while I firmly believe that you don't have to fall for what's trendy and popular, in this case, Johns Creek really does live up to the hype. Located in North Fulton County, Johns Creek is a little bit landlocked as it sits between Georgia 400 and I-85, but it makes up for interstate access with quality education, low crime rate, and an abundance of beautiful homes with spacious lots. The city boasts 9 parks totaling more than 400 acres. This includes the soon-to-be-finished boardwalk at Town Center Trail just behind City Hall and the Johns Creek City Center. Now, I mentioned schools, and Johns Creek has a few of the best public high schools in Georgia. Northview High School is ranked #1 in Fulton County and 7th in all of Georgia, and another good one is Johns Creek High School, which is ranked 13th in the state. For private education, William and Reed Academy is an excellent college prep school. And of course, do your own research in Johns Creek, or any place in North Atlanta for that matter, for your child's education, public or private. I've got a couple videos on those topics, so be sure to check that out. Got the link down below. The median sales price of homes in Johns Creek is around $800,000, and these homes hold their value. Plus, there are, like in most of Metro Atlanta, a nice variety of types of homes you can buy, not just single family. A couple of communities you might check out are Rivermont, which has spacious lots near the Chattahoochee River. Those range from $500,000s to mid-$800,000s. And also the Medlock Bridge neighborhood, located at State Bridge and Medlock Bridge roads, for one of the better family-friendly communities, with elegant homes starting at $700,000. This part of Johns Creek is a highly desirable neighborhood to call home. But let's say your family is on more of a budget, or maybe you're a first-time homebuyer who doesn't want to overextend. Well, the great thing about North Atlanta is that there are excellent homes with quality public schools at a price point you can afford if you know where to look. Just east of Johns Creek, a much more affordable suburb for homebuyers is Duluth, Georgia. Duluth is located in Gwinnett County, which is highly regarded for their school system. One section in Duluth I like to point out is the Sugarloaf Parkway area near Peachtree Ridge High School. This community has some noteworthy attractions. Gas South Arena and Convention Center bring all kinds of shows, concerts, and sporting events. And if you're into hockey, Gas South is where the ECHL Atlanta Gladiators play. This part of Duluth is relatively safe and has a number of retail, casual dining, and movie venues while still being within easy commuting distance to Atlanta since it's right off I-85. The median home price there is around $460,000, considerably less than Johns Creek. Another part of Gwinnett County you can consider is Buford, Georgia, which is a kind of diamond in the rough neighborhood, being in the Seckinger High School district. This part of Buford, and really any part of Buford, is a good place to house hunt. Now, why am I mentioning this neighborhood in particular? Seckinger High School is both racially diverse, and while not yet ranking quite as high as some others, it is still considered a better quality school than 74% of all Georgia high schools. And because it's fairly new, the potential is there for a much more competitive ranking in the county once more students and teachers populate it. This section of Buford is just off I-985 and near Mall of Georgia, and if you're not familiar, Mall of Georgia is the largest shopping mall in the entire state. In addition to the 3 levels inside the mall, there's a whole outdoor village section, a 500-seat amphitheater, and a large Regal IMAX cinema. Not to mention all the casual eateries, every major retailer you can name, and nearby Andretti Indoor Karting Complex. The whole Mall of Georgia's vicinity is just bustling with activity. So living only 17 minutes away is pretty ideal. And what's 17 minutes away also? Coolray Field in Lawrenceville. That's the home field for the AAA Braves affiliate, the Gwinnett Stripers. You can go catch a minor league baseball game there anytime. Now, this part of Buford is also affordable for housing with single family and townhomes in the Seckinger High School district. For townhomes, they can start as low as in the low $300,000 range. The lots may be a little smaller, but you can still live large in this up and coming pocket of Buford right off I-85 and Hamilton Mill Road. This next segment is for those of you who are 55 and older. Whether it's a condo or single family home you like, there are plenty of towns and cities in North Atlanta that will make your later life both enjoyable and comfortable. So let's take a look at some places to buy for people nearing retirement age or retirees. I like to first reiterate that a lot of the cities in the earlier parts of this video are very well suited to anyone in any stage of life. Sandy Springs, for instance, may be a great choice for older adults just because of its central location for shopping, fine dining, and entertainment. And for anyone not wanting to do yard work, there are a number of high-rises and mid-rise condos available at every price point. But of course, if you do enjoy gardening and landscaping, you can also find ranch-style single-family homes throughout Sandy Springs. As a practical matter, a particular part of this area is something of a healthcare mecca. It's at the interchange of Peachtree, Dunwoody, and Johnson Ferry Roads and Interstates 285 and 400. This portion of Sandy Springs is one of Georgia's largest healthcare hubs. There are 3 major hospitals within just a couple miles of one another. And a great number of doctor and specialist offices nearby makes Sandy Springs super convenient for routine medical appointments, and very much so for those with chronic conditions. In fact, one of those is Northside Hospital, which is where my son was born. So definitely you can see as much healthcare as possible being covered in that area. Healthcare aside, if you prefer a convenient but less of a hustle environment, Roswell has some of the most stately, elegant homes in North Atlanta. The antique shops and outdoor walking paths near the Chattahoochee provide a stable and calm ambiance. Roswell also has several senior centers to facilitate culture and artistic endeavors or just to hang out and meet other retirees. One very active social club is called the Roswell Ramblers, and let me tell you, it's way beyond just chair aerobics and bingo. Besides working out at their fitness and aquatic center and enjoying arts and crafts, these folks literally go places, like the recent Zoo Atlanta trip, and they even travel internationally as a group, 2 or 3 trips a month. I think they're even more active than I am. Not to be outdone, nearby Alpharetta has, as part of their recreation programs, what they call Active Adults 55 Plus. Here people can stay in shape and get social with programs at 2 different and unique centers. They have exercise classes, ceramics, mahjong, Scrabble, dance lessons, pickleball, bocce ball, along with card games, art classes. Woo! Well, you get the idea. Sandy Springs, Roswell, and Alpharetta offer an abundance of home options while being centrally located and urban enough to appeal to active people over 55. But a fast pace and constant busyness may not be for everyone, especially at this stage of life. So the next couple of areas I like to talk about in north of Atlanta provide more of a small town feel and might be very appealing to retirees. Houston, Georgia is 51 miles northeast of Atlanta, just off I-85, but it's not a town just for older folks. Believe it or not, the median age here is about 34 years old. It's small, with roughly 3,700 residents, but Houston offers a laid-back lifestyle and the people here have a strong sense of community. Downtown Houston brings everyone together by way of boutiques, antique shops, and seasonal festivals. There's a local pizzeria, coffee roasting company, barbecue joint, that's even a cafe that serves high tea and an upscale restaurant for special occasions. Single-family homes and townhomes are priced from the modest mid 300,000s up to 700, maybe 800,000, including some new construction. Nearby Houston, and I mean really nearby, is the town of Brazelton, Georgia. It's literally less than a mile away, 2 minutes by car, 20 minutes by foot. Brazelton is probably most famous for its Chateau Elan winery and resort, but it's also noteworthy for some amazing real estate, including a few million-dollar homes, as well as a thriving golf community. The population is estimated to be around 17,000, considerably larger than Houston, making it the town in Georgia with the largest population growth. The government is something of an oddity based on geography. Let me explain. Brazelton sits in 4 different counties, and different areas are part of 3 different statistical areas. If you live in Brazelton, for example, you could be in the Jefferson statistical area, the Gainesville metro area, or Metro Atlanta, depending on the exact address. And like Houston, Brazelton blends historic charm with festivals and markets to create a unique charm. And there are, of course, local eateries and a popular farmer's market, but it's not just a sleepy little burb. Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta is recognized as one of the world's best road courses, bringing competitive race car events to Brazelton. And yes, you can actually rent the track too. Of course, Chateau Elan is an amazing place to visit, not just for wine tastings, but for dining or enjoying their spa, wellness classes, nature trails, golfing, and accommodations. If you were to live in Brazelton, you could find an occasional townhome, but it's mostly single-family homes that start at about 400,000 and go up from there. So no matter your age or lifestyle, there are so many parts of North Atlanta for you, whether you'd like a busy metropolitan locale or would prefer a quieter, more serene setting. I think you understand why I always tell people North Atlanta is the best of Atlanta. Now, don't forget, I promised a fun fantasy, as I had mentioned at the beginning. If I were moving to North Atlanta and money were no object, here are some of the specific places I would want to live. First, if you like luxury living close to, but not quite in Atlanta, I've got to recommend Sandy Springs again, but not the affordable portions I talked about earlier. Do you know you can spend more than $8 million on a home in Sandy Springs? Windsor Heights is a pretty comfortable neighborhood. It's just east of Georgia 400 with homes in the $1 to $10 million range. Here's one at Carrollwood Lane, and there's new construction on Emily Reed Lane. A mere $8 million could put you just north of Powers Ferry, and if you need 11,000 square feet on a property of a couple of acres, a home on Kenbrook Way practically screams prestige. But let's say you are an executive at a company in Alpharetta, for example. If money were no object and you wanted to live in luxury, you can find homes around the same price points as those in Atlanta. A typical single-family abode in the $8 million range on Milton Avenue, for example, has 10,000 square feet, but is on less than an acre lot. Multi-million-dollar residences here are both ample and luxurious. Yes, parts of Alpharetta are now every bit as distinguished as Sandy Springs inside the perimeter. So heading a little west of Alpharetta, let's check out the sophistication and unique charm of nearby Milton, Georgia. One such property on Blue Heron Way boasts over 18,000 square feet. And because Milton is both rustic and cultured, one particular home for sale on private King Lake actually has a name, Havenstone. It's not unusual in Milton to find architectural materials sourced from all over the world, giving these estates a European aesthetic. But in other parts of Milton, equestrians ride in style and luxury. I can't help but notice one spectacular property on Freemanville Road. The nearby 11,000 square foot residence is listed for $5.8 million. But on the property is a full pool and spa, professionally finished tennis or pickleball court, and a 5-stall barn with fully functioning horse facility. You also have 17 acres for riding, but the rugged yet elegant exterior grounds, impressive as they are only rivaled by the large rooms in the cultivated interior home. Yes, Milton, Georgia is a very unique and exclusive community. And prices here continue to rise despite the shift in the market here because of what it has to offer. A little farther north, and to wrap up this tour of the affluent part of North Atlanta, fast-growing Cumming, Georgia in Forsyth County also gives you a lot for your money. And the $1 million homes here could be right on the banks of Lake Lanier, such as one new construction home on Breeze Bay Road with modern, bright, and airy rooms and a 3-car garage. But it's not just the lake views that are noteworthy. Undeveloped land here can go for over $1 million, and properties near Sawnee Mountain are highly coveted. One of the most expensive properties for sale in Cumming is on Spot Road with a $7.25 million asking price. There are 2 older occupied and income-producing homes on it, a saltwater pool, pool house, and a 6-stall barn. But the land, oh my goodness, almost 29 acres of fenced land with a Sawnee Mountain view. The property is being billed as a developer's dream project, and I have to agree. Hope you enjoyed this tour of North Atlanta's neighborhoods, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get more in-depth information on these and other cities and communities around Atlanta, because I would love to help you find your dream home. So again, my name is Tim Trevathan. Call, text, email, however you want to get a hold of me. I can't wait to hear from you. Until then, catch you on the next video.